Hello, everyone. Greetings from Botswana. My name is Thabiso Mashaba, co-founder and CEO of These Hands. And basically, we're a social enterprise that trains those that are in the rural communities and marginalized communities, a design process that allows them to explore their own livelihood challenges and tap into their indigenous knowledge systems and creative ability and cultural practices and come up with simple solutions that address these livelihood challenges. And this really stems from the essence that weeding out a problem by dealing with it from the surface is an effort in vain, but identifying the problem and dealing with it from its root cause is actually dealing with it amicably. And in the words of Emil Durkheim, the commonality of our human bond far transcends all the superficial differences that we are faced with. And just like Greece inspired the world 200 years ago through the Greek Revolution by tapping into its own culture, cultural practices, and charting and pathing a way for the world in a way in which into the economy can actually be resilient. So this particular day and at this particular time, I'm quite honored, and it's quite a privilege to be speaking in front of you all and just basically share that, because Greece did, we can also do it this time around. And ideally, so this is the year of the cultural and creative industries in 2021. And just to share a little glimpse of what we have managed to achieve by borrowing from, tapping into our oikos like Greece has done. We have managed to develop our own copyright society of Botswana. We have managed to measure the contribution of our sector as a creative industries to GDP. And we're currently actually number 5 as much as a contributor to the GDP of Botswana. We have managed to develop a cultural strategy, and we will soon launch for the very first time our National Arts Council, which will coordinate and fund and facilitate each and every facet of the cultural industry. We will also soon be launching our human resource development plan of the creative industries. And it's actually amazing that Tom Fleming has just been speaking before me, because he was involved in helping Botswana develop their national human resource development strategy around 2009 back then. And we have ratified all the conventions of the United Nations. And even though at current, because of the corona pandemic, our sector is currently closed and then shut down. So there's no cultural practice that are actually happening, because those require mass gatherings. There are no festivals happening. There are no people visiting museums. There are no, entertainment activities that are happening within the clubs for the DJs and the likes. This just doesn't mean everything is lost. Remember, the cultural and creative industries are actually cross-cutting catalysts that build social cohesion and that actually lead to economic growth. So post-corona, I actually see the future of Botswana and the cultural and creative industries of Botswana and of Africa even to just be far-reaching, but also of the world to be even further reaching, will be really, really bright, because they have provided, these pandemics have provided us with an opportunity to look within. And just like the values-based approach of Ayor Klema, we are now having an opportunity to build economies around our culture, as opposed to actually building cultures around economic models that we develop. So like Felipe would say, creativity is like an orange. You can never squeeze all of it out. So Naranja will always be there. But now what we need to do is we need to elevate. And by borrowing exactly that, which is us, and elevate that to the next level, which then we will be able to provide solutions for the world and for our local countrymen. So for example, personally myself, I'm on a journey to teach people within marginalized communities design. And it allows them to, explore looking at recycled metal like this as not just recycled metal or metal that can actually pollute the environment, but as a potential technology which you can then turn to be able to shell maize in this very efficient way, but borrowing from your cultural practices of how do we shell maize normally, right? And then people can now start believing in themselves, believing in their own cultural practice, bring in some modernity into it, and bring in a bit of scientific knowledge, and then develop solutions that are actually about developing people's lives. And we have seen this in practice. And, like the great philosopher of Greece, Socrates, would say, the secret to change really is to focus your energy not fighting the past, but in building the new. So in this particular year of the creative industries, I would like to encourage everybody listening and everybody at home to recognize that if we look within and tap into our ethos and build from our own cultural practices, we can build very strong and resilient economies, and we can be able to see sustainable development that is actually very prudent and very, very inclusive. So in those words, I thank you all, and I thank you for your time. Thank you.